guys. So my second layer, I've done the bottom half of it, because now I have to do it in quarters because the first time it didn't hold. So now I gotta get the other two corners. Now I'm gonna see if I can take up some of these little spiders because they were already pressed once. These ones right here are actually cold peel, so I'm just going to let them sit. Just trying to see if I had gotten it down good enough that it'll stay. So here is some of the items that have been pressed. Some of them are sticking, some still have the pieces on there. I gotta wait for them to cool off a little bit more, and then I'll be able to peel them off. If not, I'm just gonna press it one more time. Hopefully that'll be all it needs, just because I have one more layer I need to do, and one of the pieces is currently blocking that layer. So I have to wait. Now when you do layers like I just did, and you put down little tiny pieces, always check to make sure that the plastic piece is not underneath one of the others, or it might not hold and stay where you want it to be. All right. Two more pieces. Let's see if they held. Okay, so I'm going to do those one more time, but because they are not placed where I need to worry about them, I can actually put down my next layer. I really make sure it's placed where I want it. So it's about good enough where I like it. And again, parchment paper, Teflon sheet, whatever you're using to protect your piece. You're gonna place it there. And you're gonna do your 5 seconds again. Make sure you are putting a lot of pressure down. If you don't have a lot of pressure, it will not take. So when breaking your pieces apart to put down, instead of just using a whole sheet and wasting your sheet, sometimes it's better to waste it, because then you don't end up with something that might be slightly crooked, which this one sure is on the bottom line. But it's okay. It's creative. It's different. It's Halloween. Finally, I can get the ear off. So as I said before, you're not done once you peel this off. You actually have to press it one more time at the full amount of time to make sure your vinyl is protected and in the vinyl. So this is what it looks like. That bottom line is slightly off. It's because I cut my piece instead of left it on the whole sheet. I thought it would be alright if I placed it, but it doesn't look bad. Now I'm going to put my sheet on it again. Everything is currently exposed. You want to protect that exposed vinyl. So I'm going to change my timer on my EasyPress. Go up the time I need. 10 to 15 seconds, depends on what you prefer. I usually go for 15 because my EasyPress does sometimes have trouble with the teeth. It's now ready, so I'm going to begin with a corner. If you have a small enough item that you don't have to do a corner, you can just do the whole thing. Mine doesn't cover the whole thing, and I don't want to take a chance of something not being pressed correctly because it wasn't in the right place. So I lost the teeth, put it back, let it gain its heat again. Now, the reason I did this shirt the way I did it, where the vinyl isn't touching each other, kind of like this one, it looks like it is, but it's not. That's because the vinyl can't touch each other, or it will come off when you do wash it, or you peel the piece off and then it's not on there anymore. It's because it's the type of vinyl that it is. It just doesn't, the shiny doesn't go well with another layer. Alright, so this is how my layering without touching each other vinyl shirt looks like. My most hunting time of the year. See how it shines. I love this embossed. I love how when you touch it, you can still feel the layering that it is, the upbeativeness of it. But it shines beautifully. I can't wait to actually wear this shirt. One's a little bit closer to Halloween. And now my next one is going to be a layer project like the shirt that I'm wearing, where some of the pieces will touch. All the pieces actually can touch if I want to. Just when like I said earlier. So next I'm going to be doing my pumpkin. And my pumpkin is going to be a different type of layer project. This layer project is going to be on top of each other like my shirt that I am wearing. When doing this type of project, you do the same thing, 5 seconds. With temperature that you need, 310 is what iCraft recommends. These materials that I'm putting on here, the only one that is not a bottom layer item, or you shouldn't put on the bottom at all, is the spectrum, which is its eyes and a little bit of its mouth and its little flame. Everything else you could put on a bottom, you could put multiple layers on top of. Just, you have to be careful with the ones that are shiny, reflective, and smooth to the touch. If they're smooth to the touch, they will not hold very well. It'll actually start to peel off. So to start with layering, you want the most basic, most easy thing you have. This would be great if I could press it just like this, so I keep my stem there, but my stem is actually touching another piece of vinyl, and that would ruin the piece if I was to place it like that. So now I got your shirt, got a nice black shirt I'm gonna put it on. And just so you know, spectrum does change color depending on what shirt it's on. This spectrum is actually green, but because of the shirt in which it is on, it is more of an orange. And the best way to know what color spectrum you have is to look at the back. That'll be your color. I did before with the 3/4 sleeve. Just find your corners. Apparently I've ironed. Find your corners, place it. Make sure it's nice and straight. You don't want uneven edges. You're trying to find your center. You don't need to set a timer when finding your center. You're just pretty much just ironing in a nice line. Give it a little bit of pressure. Sometimes the actual tags in the shirt do not line up, so do not use them as a point of reference. Also, make sure you take your stickers off. This one, I didn't know it had one still. And sometimes when you do iron your shirts, you'll get a lighter color on them. It does come out, I promise you. It looks like it's ruined the shirt. You can't use it anymore. But no, you can, I promise. So, right now I'm just looking for my ruler. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the pumpkin on the shirt with its stem. The other two pieces, or 4 pieces, I don't need right now, because they are not a major piece that will be on the shirt. They're just going to be a smaller piece that'll be placed in there. You can actually fold it. People recommend folding it outward so your vinyl doesn't stick to itself. I do it both ways. You're just trying to find the center of your item so that when you do place it on the shirt, it's nice and centered. I'm going to go about 1.5 to 2 inches down on my shirt. I'm a little bit further than I liked. I have my line in the center of my shirt, so I know where my line is. Place my pumpkin again. And you can pick it up and place it as many times as you want until you're comfortable. You can even measure it from the sides. I currently have my press right there, so I have to move it over a little bit. So from my armpit to the bottom, it's going to be about 6 1/4. And this side's actually a lot bigger. So what I can do is I just pick it up again, move it over a little bit. It's a lot more comfortable with it, more centered to where I want it to be. And if you need to, you can always pick up your shirt, see if it looks middle to you. People eyeball it, people measure it. Really depends on what you prefer to do. Now, because I have the stem, I have to peel the stem back off, easy. And because this already has the protection, I don't need to put anything to protect it currently. I'm just going to press it for the 5 seconds because I am doing multiple layers. 5 seconds each layer. If you do the full time, you will destroy your vinyl. So I recommend only doing 5 seconds each piece. And since this is bigger, I'm going to do 1/4 or 1/2 of it. Make sure you press it. Let it cool off a little bit. I don't like it when it's too hot. Pull it down a little bit. So now I have 2 options that I can do once I peel this piece off. One option is I can place as many layers as I can without them overlapping each other on this shirt and iron it down, or I can do it layer by layer by layer. But I recommend, if you can do more pieces at the same time, do it, because then it saves the vinyl below from being destroyed. So now it's cool enough. I'm going to peel it off. Actually, I'm going to press it again. Always make sure it's all the way pressed down. You don't want to peel it off and something be not attached anymore, because then it ruins the whole piece. It also might be because my vinyl is such a big piece that my little 9x9 square pillow under it is not able to handle what I'm doing. It's actually not sticking at all. If you need more pressure, you can stand up. Just do whatever you need to do. Always make sure you hit go. Let's cool off a little bit. I'm gonna make sure it's currently on. Looks like it's sticking this time. Always make sure it's sticking. If it's not sticking, you're not gonna have a piece on your shirt when you're gonna peel it off. Let it cool off a little bit. You could always cool your thing with a piece of tile, with a fan. You can always get a metal tumbler. A metal tumbler you can roll across it. Or you can just wait. Wait until it feels nice and cool. I recommend cold peels. Don't rip things off really fast if you don't think it's going to stick, because then it won't last as long because it's pulling itself back off the shirt. So just wait for it to cool off a little bit. Alright, so what I'm going to do now that my pumpkin face is on the mat, I'm going to put down as many layers as I can without pieces overlapping. So I'm going to start with my stem. Put it where I think it fits best. Actually, it might not stay because I folded it. If I can do my eyes, I'm going to do my eyes. But if I do this eye, I might have to, I can cut pieces off if I want to. I want to just make sure you have the right eye on which one it goes to. Alright, so this here is actually two pieces. I'm going to separate them. I'm going to do the liquid first because the spectrum that I have on the shirt is a top layer item. It is not a bottom layer. So pretty much, because this is an actual perfect fit for everything, I just need to make sure my things are all lined up correctly. And if I don't feel comfortable, I can always take the piece that I'll be putting on next. Make sure it goes where I have left. You can always pick up and move as long as you don't press it down. Alright, that looks about good. Make sure my eyes are in the right place still. Some of the things got moved. I'm going to place my parchment paper because I'm fancy like that. Down. Make sure my eyes didn't move too much. And then I'm going to press it. This is going to be just a center press. Nice hard temperature. Nice hard pressure, I mean. Oh my goodness, looks like a scary pumpkin. So this is a cold peel. This is actually not placed where I wanted it. It's fine. So I'm just gonna let these cool off a little bit. Once they're cool, I'll remove them, and then I'll do my last layer. If something's not sticking, I can always do the next piece with that piece that didn't stick, as long as it's not the mouth, but the liquid metallic will always stick. It is such a great piece. I love liquid metallic, and it melts right into the shirt. It's one of my favorite things to use, and liquid metallic is able to layer that on top of each other. You just can't layer metallic. So this is metallic, this is spectrum, liquid metallic. You can literally tell the difference. It's softer. The piece of sheet is a lot easier to move. It's very easy to tell the difference when you play with it a lot. And it's really good when you like to do layer projects. Alright, so my stem is good. Now I know I hear a lot of people question, like, what happened to my vinyl piece? Oh, it didn't stick. I hear a lot of people say, oh, well, I did this for my project and there's gaps in my picture. Sometimes some vinyls do melt or move when you do press them. Some may shrink. But that might be because you use such a high temperature when you went to press it. I have never had any issues with that. Mine usually have issues with me putting them wrong on the placement, or I didn't size it correctly when I did make it.